So, what are the issues and barriers in building cultural competence in early year classrooms? As teachers of young learners, we need to teach them skills like directionality, the components of a cover, like author, illustrator, title, etc., how to turn a page, phonological awareness, and so on. However, and a really important point to consider is the type of books that we expose our students to. Do the books that we read to them or that they read accurately represent the diverse world that they live in? Do they feature characters who come from a variety of different backgrounds? And are these books a reflection of their real world? This is really important because representation matters. Now, the first problem is that there is a lack of diverse literature. This is improving somewhat, as you can see from this graph, that around 2014, 2015, there is a steady rise in the books published that are about different minorities or written by members of different cultural groups. This is a very interesting illustration that shows the diversity in children's books in 2015. And this is all children's books. So 86%, almost 86% did not feature minorities. Only 14% featured characters from different minorities. And if you see, they have little mirrors, and so they don't see themselves reflected in the texts, in the literature that they read. And if you read the fine print, you'll see that out of these books, about a quarter were picture books. And out of those quarter picture books, half half depicted animals, trucks, and other non-human characters, and the rest were featured mainly white characters. This is all US data, of course. And then you see in 2018, there is a bit of an improvement, but there is still room for more. So there is some improvement, and I myself feel that when I go to the school library or order books from Book Depository or other websites, I do see a whole lot more diverse literature than before. Now, I don't know whether it's because I'm seeking it out or there's really more literature, but there must be. However, there are still barriers in these diverse texts reaching our classrooms. And one is curriculum. A lot of times, curriculum doesn't explicitly uh, give prominence to diverse literature. Definitely, international schools celebrate diversity and multiculturalism, international mindedness, but are there strong school initiatives to promote the use of diverse literature in every classroom? Awareness. As educators, we need to develop awareness regarding what is a diverse text, how to find anti-bias books, and so on. So, what is a diverse text? So, let's take an example. The very beloved picture book, The Day the Crayons Quit, is a great book. It's about a box of crayons who are unhappy about the way Duncan, their owner, treats them, and they each write a letter to him. It's funny. It teaches children how to write letters. It does, it's a classic book. Now here's another book featuring a crayon or crayons. It's called Red, a Crayon Story, and it talks about a crayon that is labeled red but is actually blue. Now, this book is considered diverse because it talks about an experience, which is identity crisis stemming from not meeting societal expectations of how we should be or behave. Now, this is different from the normal status quo in the genre of children's literature. So, this is definitely diverse literature. Now, there's a common misconception that children's books about a minority or distant culture are bias free. But sometimes people of different characters are added for tokenism, or there might still be some underlying bias. So it's very important that we learn how to find bias free books. Another reason is effort. Not only are diverse books difficult to find because they are not published as much, they don't reflect our world, but also as teachers, we are used to using some books that we were exposed to, or for those of us in education for a very long time, it's hard to change the books that we use in our classroom. And so what we need to do is not completely change what we teach and the resources we use, but take baby steps and start to add diverse books here and there and see how it goes for us. So here's another prompt for your Jamboard. Please grab the green sticky note and write your thoughts on why it could be hard for teachers to use a variety of diverse literature in their class. Another barrier is the nature of the topics addressed. Some of the topics addressed in diverse books can be controversial. You have to consider developmentally appropriate practices and also culturally sensitive issues is something we need to consider because as you know we have to be respectful of the host culture that we are in. Another issue is cookie cutter celebrations. So celebrating holidays, especially in an earlier setting, is fun and it helps bring connection between students and with parents. However, deciding to celebrate specific holidays in our class and the choice of activities really requires thoughtful consideration. Celebrating a dominant culture, religious holiday on the rationale that they're widely accepted and fun and therefore okay for everyone really does not respect cultural and religious diversity in our classrooms. And focusing on specific holidays, doing activities that are more a reflection of stereotypes of how this holiday is celebrated rather than based in the reality of our students. So, for example, spending a lot of time in December talking about Christmas and doing activities like Christmas tree crafts, Santa Claus cards, and gift giving, or spending time on Easter bunny paintings or coloring and egg hunts in spring, or focusing on lion dance, dumpling making, and red envelopes during Chinese New Year. It's like telling children how they celebrate their festivals rather than getting their input and their family's input. Another class of holiday celebrations that negate certain family structures is Mother's Day and Father's Day when they are celebrated in the traditional sense because they that might recognize only one type of family structure. However, we all have a wide range of family dynamics in our classrooms. So, our next video will be about why it's so important to develop cultural competence. See you then.